name is Allan Zeman. I've lived in Hong Kong for over 50 years right now. I changed my nationality in 2008 to become Chinese. I used to live in Canada. I came from Canada. And I've been responsible in Hong Kong for many, many things. I did Ocean Park. I was known as the Mouse Killer for 12 years in a row while I was the chairman of Ocean Park. I redid the whole park. I built the Lan Kwai Fong district, the nightlife district, entertainment district, and Lan Kwai Fong. I took a street and made it into a very famous brand throughout China, throughout the world. Obviously, the pandemic was really probably one of the most difficult periods in most people's lives in businesses. Restaurant business, although I am a landlord, I have a lot of tenants in the entertainment business. For, let's say, this last Omicron, it's been very, very difficult because it's different than Alpha Delta. Alpha Delta virus attacks the lungs, and so it doesn't transmit as quickly. Omicron absolutely is upper respiratory, so it really attacks the throat and the nose, and so that's why it transmits so quickly, unlike the previous two viruses which we went through. And Hong Kong did a good job during the other two viruses. We were able to get the borders closed, and we were able to really do business. We almost had zero infections, and so it was very good. Suddenly Omicron came along, and from January, many of my tenants, bars, clubs, have been closed since January. No income, no people. They have to pay rent, they have staff. I have some of my own restaurants as well. I'm a landlord for those restaurants, but the same thing. We can only have lunch business and from 5 a.m. in the morning till 6 p.m. Only 2 people to a table. Very difficult to survive. But I was forced to, as a landlord, I wore 2 hats. One hat as a landlord, I was forced to give concessions in rental to many of my tenants. And I was always very, very understanding, and I did it, even though it hurt me financially. But I knew that there's no point to make them go bankrupt because we're partners basically. You know, if I need them to survive so that when things get better, we can all do well again. In the 2020 first Delta virus, the government at that time came out with something called ESS, Employment Subsidy Scheme. And that was for 6 months closure, up to 9,000 Hong Kong dollars per staff. And that really helped a lot of people, including ourselves, to survive, because the government actually helped you to fund for 6 months. This time, Carrie Lam, the chief executive, came up with ESS, which is again, the Employment Subsidy Scheme, but for 3 months, starting May, June, July, and basically for 8,000 Hong Kong dollars per staff, provided you don't fire your staff. And this really, really helped a lot. I mean, this will help a lot for many, many, many businesses, especially in restaurants, especially in entertainment. Well, with the virus, it became a real nightmare for many people. Unfortunately, many deaths in Hong Kong. I mean, Alpha Delta, we only had 213 deaths in over 2 years. Suddenly, Omicron comes along, and the elderly people were not vaccinated. Hong Kong people, because of Alpha Delta, the 2 years we did so well, many didn't want to get vaccinated. Oh, I don't need to get vaccinated, what for? But yet, the only way to solve the problem of the virus is to get vaccinated, not unlike the flu vaccine, which comes every year. And so I myself thought, the important thing is to have the employment subsidy scheme now, because otherwise many businesses won't survive. So I wrote a letter to Carrie Lam, which went viral, unfortunately. It was supposed to be a WhatsApp between her and I. She's a friend, just telling her we need to open up, we need to be, not get confusing messages from the government, because every day there was different messages coming out. Some were very contradictory, some from the so-called medical experts. People were confused and people were worried, and so that letter went viral and actually did a lot. So now, starting on April 21st, we will now have the opening of the restaurants, the nighttime business, till 10 p.m., which will help a lot. So you have now lunch at 4 people to a table, which again, it's an improvement. And then in May 21st, 1 month later, we will then have bars and clubs, so many of my tenants can open up. Again, they've been closed since January, and they're just looking for Hong Kong people are looking forward to them opening up. And I think that business should be good, hopefully. And then gyms are opening up in April 21st as well, because they've been closed also since January. Many have closed down. And many businesses have closed down. And then, of course, if everything's okay in June, if the virus numbers are low, then infection numbers are low, then we'll be back to normal. You'll be able to go all night, and even in May, they'll allow restaurants to be open until midnight, and bars and clubs will be open until midnight. So we're slowly getting back to life again, and I think I've helped a lot with it, kind of helped the government to come out with one message. We see now Carrie Lam every day at 11 a.m. comes out with, there's one voice now telling the public what to do, what to expect, and it's really helped a lot. We have basically, the big problem, of course, is the borders are closed between China and Hong Kong, also international in Hong Kong.